Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started on the Venezuelan coast aboard this narco ship. The fake news said they were fishermen, but they were Tren de Aragua thugs, heading to the United States with a boat full of drugs. A boat full of drugs. Bad hombres decided to F around, so we blew them out of the water. We unleashed our secret weapon, and we dropped Katie Porter. The narco boats were annihilated. Now the fish are high as hell. They got a free meal when the USA chummed the water with the cartels. And I got along very well, by the way, with Davy Jones. You may have heard of him, Davy Jones. And he has a locker. And anybody who tries to sail drugs into our country, they're getting a one-way trip to Davy Jones' locker. That much I can tell you. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sunset Rants, where we go over the news, rants, and deep dives to get you caught up at sunset. I'm AK, your favorite guy, and tonight, is the Autopen about to get deported? Also, states sue Department of Agriculture over suspension of SNAP, and is Trump going to pick up another piece of gold in the Nobel Peace Prize? That and more tonight. But first, Papa Tete, how you doing?
Dude, I love that. I need to start doing that. I don't know why I haven't. My apologies. I'm good, man. Dude, I got so excited when I found out we're going to be together tonight. It's fantastic. It's always a pleasure. I mean, you're one of my best friends, so I'm good, brother. I'm good. Life. I'm on a little high of life right now, so can't complain. How you doing up there, brother?
Absolutely, aren't we all? Well, before we get started, let's go over to risemiddleamerica.com and check out our lineup of podcasts from history to news, pop culture, true crime. We've got something for everyone. If you want to join the team, the Roman Nation or Sunset Rants team, go to the Discord. That's your only gateway into the fastest growing podcast community on the net. Links to our socials are at the top of the site, and don't forget to check out our Roman Nation fashion line down below. So, there it is. Right. Wait, is it this side or that side? Oh, one of these corners.
It's on there for me.
It's over there? Yeah, okay. Gotcha. All right. So like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button so you don't miss a moment of the action. Now, to the Gateway Pundit. All right. Because you guys saw a bunch of news today about the House Oversight Committee and how they deemed all of Biden's Autopen actions null and void. Now, I'm not sure they can do that by themselves. They're going to need some help with that. But they demand an investigation by Attorney General Pam Bondi. So let's take a look. All right. So Biden Autopen scandal has taken a new turn, and the Department of Justice may soon get involved. The House Oversight Committee, led by Representative James Comer, released a 100-page report today declaring all of Biden's Autopen executive actions null and void. These include pardons performed by the White House staff and signed by Autopen. Let's see, what do we got here? Has expressed the Biden Autopen presidency, revealing how top aides misled Americans and worked to maintain the illusion of presidential control as Biden's capacity declined. Executive actions taken by the White House staff and signed by the Autopen are null and void. And this is from Representative James Comer. So there's so many issues with this, right? Because number one, can Biden account for all of the signed memos that the Autopen set up?
I mean, here's the thing. I get that. Now, if you're saying, can someone account for everything, in 4 years, that on its own is stretch. Now, for the Autopen, no shot. Is anyone going to even figure that out? Especially him. Like, I think it's going to be a really wild precedence. If this is true. The fact of the matter is, he did have people running behind him. It was kind of a joke behind it. And then now it's this. So what can be erased? What can be null and void? And then how much of backlash do you think will actually happen because of that? Because this was everything that they had for their 4 years. Like their news cycle was boring as shit because they had no one to shit on. Like, I don't know how many times I would see, like, I would read or watch on TV how many times CNN was getting bought out by Verizon or anything like that.
Right.
But if this is true, how much more like angry and like little whiny pigs like running around do you think that the left will have? Because everything that he did.
I mean, it's definitely going to be unprecedented. Unlike what some of these news agencies like to say is unprecedented. But you really have to think of history, right? When was the Autopen created? Right? What was it created for?
It's like over 100 years ago, I think.
Well, yeah, it was about 100. Now, if you look at each president and how they use the Autopen, that sets the precedent, right? It's like, what is it used for? Kids are coming in that want to get a signed letter by the president or whatnot, or some things that that they're capable of signing but aren't physically there to sign, but goes through like an entire setup so that it doesn't get abused. Because the question here is, what happens when a bunch of what if he signs an executive order he didn't know that gives somebody $1 billion?
See, that's a good. Those two, you make two really good points because they're saying like if it's just too many things, like what if they're given like letters, like say if like it was like World War II, we had a lot of good men who perished in World War II, whether it be like on D-Day or something like that. And like, a presidential letter already did, and then signed by the president. I can get that. But then you say stuff like, you're just saying, like, what if he signs stuff over like $1 billion or something like this, which, we've talked about for the past, like, 4 years prior to the current month, the current, it's called administration. But like just all these just flagrant just silliness of free money to here, free money to there. And then what was it? Right before his administration ended, he's like, I don't remember doing this. Like, I don't remember signing this. It was just a normal question.
Yeah. And I think I think who was it? I was going to say Mike Davis. Mike Johnson. Went in and tried to ask him some questions about something that happened down in Louisiana, and he's like, "Yeah, well, why was this signed? Because now all of these people are having issues on the coastline." And he was like, "I don't remember signing that." He's like, "What do you mean you don't remember signing that? This was signed. This came out of your administration, and it's halting things in my state." But he had no idea that happened. Mike Johnson went on record and stated that, right? But the other thing is pardons, because let's not get it twisted. This is what it's really about. It's about pardoning people when a crime allegedly has not been committed yet.
Yeah.
Right? Because has anybody ever done that before them?
On that magnitude, I don't think so. I know there's usually like, a handful, if you would. Mute your phone, by the way.
Yeah.
I know there's always been just like a handful, maybe like 12 here, in the teens there, maybe less than a dozen, maybe a baker's dozen, if you would. But when you have, what do you pardon, like 900,000 or just some, the numbers can be.
I mean not that big, but yeah, it was something like 12, or 1,300 people.
Yeah, it was an egregious amount of people. But then you start looking at like, who was it? Like there was like people who were like just truly sex offenders, people who are Chinese spies, pedos, stuff like things where the national security or just terrible morality to which you wouldn't just give it away. Like it would have been like the war's dream, like to be able to extract that. Like I got that when, even it's poor faith and morality, it's the only way for these people to have gotten off was to have this. And then going into, what we're talking about as far as the Autopen, it's he even like let people go who weren't even accused or have done something, like Fauci, for instance. That's a rabbit hole on its own. We're like, oh, he should be charged. And it's like, oh, well, Fauci's good to go. It's like, well, he wasn't accused of anything. He hasn't been indicted on anything. Like, so it's like, what's really going on that one? At least that's how I think about it. I don't know.
Exactly.
It's not the same idea.
Yeah, and then you go out to the staffers, right? The emails of staffers confirming on Biden's behalf. They lied about his health, and
That
then
was
of course, that was a big one. And they were and the doctor was pleading the fifth, and it's like, why are you pleading the fifth? You don't need to and all you have to do is say, hey, no, he was healthy. No, the reason why he's pleading the fifth is because he knows that it is theoretically impossible for him to just all of a sudden have prostate cancer at 81 in 30 days. That I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah, because they were saying like for it to, like how aggressive it was. Like it was literally like genetically, biologically impossible for it to masticize as aggressive as it did in that short of a span. So meaning when he was doing, I don't like the guy by any means, but he's still a human. So like I don't wish ill will on anyone. Prostate cancer is one of the worst of the cancers that you can have. Whether you throat, mouth, prostate, or what is it? The pancreatic. There's ones that are just really bad, and that's a really bad one to have. But it doesn't get that aggressive. And then we're like, oh yeah, no, he's good to go. He has nothing because he's. They were going through the what was it? The back and forth. It's literally slipping my mind right now.
The debate.
Debates, yeah, which they canceled on too. But you could tell when he did do the debates, like something was off. He was drugged up for sure. Could be his age on something, sure, but it kind of puts it into perspective, like what was actually going on. And then it just got blown over like nothing happened. And a lot of people don't even think about that anymore.
No, a lot of people didn't think about it, and then there were some people that were like, "Oh, he just had a bad day," and it's like, I hope you don't take care of people for a living, because if that's, and a lot of people that do said the same thing. They're like, "Oh no, he's perfectly fine," and it's like, well, I'm sorry, but if now I know who not to go to if I ever have an issue, right? And not to sit here and just dogpile on the left, but a lot of this comes from them, and they say this out in the open, right? And sometimes I try to go to them and say, like, hey, look, listen, you probably need to back off of this one. But no, they don't want to. They just want to just head first into an oblivion. And it's like, okay, well, have fun in the blender. But the real question is, can the oversight committee deem it null and void? I don't think they can do that on their own, because this is a separate executive action that's done by the executive branch, separated by that wall of authority, right? So
if we have Harvey Specter from Suits, we got this. I just started watching that show like last week. I'm almost done with it. I love it. But I mean, you're right. It's they're gonna bring it into it, like it. And when you're up in this kind of level of power, like pricing for the lawyers doesn't matter by any means. Like it's gonna be back end like settlements. It's gonna be like, oh, do this, do that, and then they do have the audacity to say this like in a farce. Maybe they're just so blind because all they see in their bubble is no, this isn't true because they don't want to see stuff. Or it could just be because they are empowered by like legacy media, the people who owns the legacy media, even same with Fox and MSNBC, CNN, all of that, to where they could just be that brazen bold to completely deny the truth. So that way it's like, if I lie enough times, it will be.
Right. And the thing is that tunnel vision, right? Because certain people will only watch certain things. And
yeah, absolutely.
And it amazes me some of the things that I've seen, especially on like Facebook, where they keep talking about Russiagate and stuff and all this connections with Russia. And I'm just like, that was like 5, 6, 7 years ago that was debunked. Like, what are you doing? Right? Like why can't you just let go of this? And a lot of it is just because it's just one person, right? But now they're starting to see the decline and the downfall that's caused. A lot of times where you ask very logical questions and they can't even answer it. They can't even just be like, I don't know. Right? It's just no, it's not happening, or it's not true, or whatnot. Well, now all of that compiling for years and years and years and years is now just crumbling on top of them.
So this is maybe it's a little anecdotal on this, just kind of as like as an example. But before I got into corporate sales, I've been doing corporate sales for better part of 20 years now. I'm very successful at it. I'm an executive. When I first started, like into the sales, like as an entry level, someone asked me a question I didn't know, I would just kind of bullshit my way around it. And then I was like, this isn't working for me. And someone just said, people will respect you and they'll believe you more if you don't know an answer to a question. Just like, I do not know that. Mm-hmm. Let me look it up. I don't know that. Fill me in, and then I can do my research on that. And that's the problem with these people. They're not believable because they just don't. They won't admit that they could be wrong, and they won't admit that they don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know, but they will take this little lie and they'll just snowball effect it into something else. And that's it's kind of what we've been seeing for the past 10 years.
Brian, pull up that video. Right. Yeah. So while Brian's pulling up this video, what's the next step here? So it's going to go to the DOJ. The DOJ is going to investigate. The question is, because the DOJ is kind of like a mix between the executive and judicial almost.
Yeah.
It's kind of like there's a small little line, but there is a line.
It's the brackish water where they come together.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess they have to go through that, and then they're going to have to go through the courts, and then the courts are going to have to make a decision, and then of course, whoever wins is going to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's going to allocate that decision, right?
Yeah. So watch this first, and let me. I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
All right.
The president's fitness or his age?
Did you ever see President Biden in a wheelchair?
I do not recall ever seeing President Biden in a wheelchair.
And new information now on the people in his inner circle and how the cover-up actually operated.
Senior aides that worked here until just a couple months ago, the beginning of this year, manipulating an ailing president for their own gain.
How much were you paid for your role in the campaign in 2024?
Just a little bit short of $4 million.
I'm sorry, how much?
$4 million.
You believe that the president should stay in the race. Your own financial stake in the matter was a factor in any way in your advice to the president?
I don't believe that.
And when it comes to President Biden's decline, the official
wouldn't?
word from Biden.
If anybody gave me $1 million or $1 million at stake, the thing is that you have your morals until somebody puts a suitcase full of money in front of you, and then you really show what your morals are.
Yeah, and so here's the thing: did he say 1 million or 4 million?
1 million, I believe. Was it 4 million?
4 million.
Yeah, it's 4 million.
I mean, I mean, even with inflation now, like $4 million is a buttload of cash. But given that, it's like, these people are like, whether it be in Congress or Senate or whatever, however you want to word it, they're not really making that much money in the grand scheme of things to be changing the complete outlook on American perspective amongst the constituents. They're not really like the amount of money to the damage they're doing. It's not that the amount of money is not a lot compared to the damage you're doing, and then it starts to change like what the macroeconomics start to go into. And we see this all the time as far as like if one company does one thing, the other people will stop buying. Look at Mike with My Pillow. He almost went out of business. I think he might have, like, chapter 11. Mike Lindell, this years, kind of looking back at it. But they're doing all of this. They're changing the economy. They're changing the outlook. They're changing the harmonization of what the American people are, whether it be left, right, center, extreme left, extreme right, just whatever you have. And it's becoming more divisive. And they're taking it just for all things considered, not a lot of money, and they're all making a shit ton of money either way on the back end of stuff. And whether it be Republican or Democrat, they are all in cahoots as far as like the old timers.
Oh, absolutely. Especially at the top, and especially the people that have been there for years and years and years. They have all the connections at their fingertips, right? So if they really need something to happen, all they have to do is go.
Yeah, there's a few of them 55 years. But I wrote it down. So what I was saying was, like, with all the stuff this current administration's been doing, like, he's like, you're going to get tired of winning. We're going to win so much. You say, no, we can't do it anymore. Like, it's true. It's like, wow, this is great. And even if it's a little hiccup, it's like just so much winning that even the little hiccup seems like a big deal because it's just so out of place. I just personally don't think that this matters anymore. Now, if there's certain things that need to be like fixed or retroacted on things that he signed, that makes sense. It's like, oh, hey, we're doing this, and this is where I do believe there's going to be an end goal on the reasoning for this. But realistically, like, Biden's not in the picture anymore. Like, you'll see some certain things like we were just talking about, like, oh, the media overinflates or things like Kamala and AOC possibly running for the next time. But Biden doesn't matter anymore. Like, it's just old news. Now, if there's an end game to this, I do believe that. But it's like the dude's not competent. He's sitting in his place, like up in Connecticut with his family. Like, he's like wondering if he shit his pants or if he wants to, drink a tea on his porch. Like, he's just an old man who has cancer, unfortunately. But I do believe there's a long game to this. And that's the only reason why I believe that this is coming into it with the Autopen.
Yeah, because especially with future ramifications, you have to be very careful about what precedent that you set in that office, because not only do you have that type of control, within your column, but you have a lot of control outside of this country as well. I'm pretty sure executive orders doesn't cross outside of the bounds of the United States, but being able to sign anything at any time, anywhere, regardless of whether you're in the room or not, there has to be something set in place for that. And I'm wondering if Congress is allowed to create a law or create any type of contingency to make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen.
See, I wondered the same thing, and you would assume like, oh, there's no laws passed. It doesn't. But the fact of the matter is, like, we have our money everywhere. Like, our money basically in our economy and our rules control everything, other than if it's like some dictatorship in like Venezuela or China or Russia or something like that. I left that open. it's going to, we're going to have stuff over. Like, look at USAID or whatever, USAID, however you want to pronounce it. Like, that was stuff, like half that stuff is just used to like overthrow other governments, like to start coups.
Mm-hmm.
Do small stuff here and there, but it's still big. And that Autopen proves it.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
Stuff that we're saying, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and I think that a lot of the people that he pardoned must have done something somewhere within that administration to set something up. I don't know what it is, but you wouldn't just randomly set up a pardon for someone who did some really bad things for no reason. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if it's a nothing burger of a person, all things considered, in the grand scheme of things, that means that's going to be someone's relative or friend or business partner that's holding back, either whether it be a business merge, a business purchase. My son did something fucked up. My nephew did something fucked up. There's stuff to it. But when you have something like that many people, like that large of egregiousness, But we could we could talk about this forever, but let's jump on the next one at the time.
All right, let's move on to the NBC News. Oh man, SNAP benefits on the horizon. State sue agricultural department over looming suspension of SNAP food assistance. With benefits expected to run out Saturday because of the government shutdown, Democratic leaders of 25 states allege the USDA is required to keep providing funds. Let's see. Democratic leaders from 25 states are suing the Agriculture Department over the looming suspension of federal the SNAP program, also known as food stamps. Benefits are expected to run dry across the country this weekend because of the ongoing government shutdown. The lawsuit filed Tuesday in Massachusetts District Court argues that the USDA is legally required to continue providing SNAP benefits during the shutdown as long as it has funding. It calls on the court to compel the USDA to use contingency funds appropriated by Congress to keep the program running. Up to 42 million people rely on SNAP food assistance, and recipients would ordinarily see their EBT cards get reloaded on November 1st. But the USDA website states that the agency will not allocate more funding while the shutdown persists, an unprecedented situation that could cause widespread hunger across the country. Now, I've been seeing videos online of people basically saying, if my SNAP doesn't come through, I'm just going to walk in, grab my food, and take it out. No, you're going to go to jail. So we're just going to go ahead and end that right now.
Depends what city you live in, but yes, you're right.
I know, right? But besides that, who is withholding, right? Because it's clear. Again, I don't want to dogpile on the left, but this should be a bipartisan issue.
Right. No, dogpile, man. When it comes to 5 years when it has to switch over and we have to dogpile on the right, then we'll do the same thing. It's just where it's focused at right now and what's happening right now. That's
right, right. But the thing is here is, what's stopping them from issuing a short-term resolution to fund until 2026? Nothing, right? All you have to do is just say yes. Just say yes until 2026, and then we'll make that 2026's problem. Now, I understand that there's ramifications for that as well. They're just going to keep kicking the can down the road as we're trying to save money on this $37 trillion deficit. But at this point, I don't understand why they'd be okay with it a couple months ago and not okay with it now, unless there's some underlying issue. Now, I know that there are a couple of congressional members that want extra funding for different things. Some want to keep pushing funding for overseas. A lot of people want $1.5 billion for allegedly for healthcare for illegal immigrants, which, I don't believe that that whole 1.5 trillion is for all illegal immigrants and only illegal immigrants. I'm pretty sure there are certain things that they want it for, but there are also loopholes on the back end to get that to happen. That's what I believe.
Yeah. And so here's the thing with this as well, and I don't know why they do this, because there's a few ways you can look at this. Like 1/3 of America's GDP does come from health insurance. Like if there was not health insurance, I'm not even talking about Obamacare, just actual health insurance. Like 97% of the R&D of all healthcare is United States. Like that's just a fact. It doesn't matter. So because of taxes and because we have subsidized healthcare, we're getting 1/3 of that into it. So you have that. And then if you were to do that 1 point whatever trillion dollars into the illegals, they're going to be using it too. And so what that ends up doing is that's going to, just end up costing us day to day way more expensive. And it's not even going to be like stuff that's going to, like tangible objects like eggs or gasoline. That's just going to hurt other people's pockets. So because of that, in my opinion, like these people at the top, they're like, oh shit, now we got to pay more taxes on this. We got to pay more on this. And it's going to raise the prices. And then we're going to have more money. And I'm going to go back into the Ukrainian war, and I'm going to go back into, I know I said this like a year ago, and then with the stimulus checks, when you make more, you print out more money than is actually exists, you're going to create the inflation, which we already know. So how do you get rid of that? You spend the money on intangibles. Healthcare, unless you actually need it, is intangible. You're paying for the monthly or this, and people will start using that. You start a war and start using missiles and bullets and R&D for research for nuclear programs and like the Virginia class stuff, the new submarine that we just bought, that's tangible. But when you start using that money on stuff that can't be recuperated, then it's going to, then in the long run it could be doing it, but we're gonna be paying for it on the upfront because of that. So what I think that's going on is they know this and they want to stick it to Trump for one thing. The left literally cuts their nose off to spite their face. Trump administration and the Republicans in Congress and Senate, they're not going to budge from that because it goes against what the American people voted for, which was a clear home run for a win for Trump's administration during the election. So I think that they're getting bought out. They have money into this. They think this is going to be good. But the fact of the matter is it's just going to hurt everyone else. And these people do not live in the real world. They've been on the Hill so long, they don't know what their constituents are like. They just are amongst themselves chatting while us lowly people are around. And they don't see it. They just think they're doing good, and they drink the juice, the punch, and they believe this.
Right.
That's my
no, I get it. And especially with congressional members that have been there for over 40 years.
55 years. 56 years now.
I'm just talking about the ones that have been there for at least 40. Right. Okay. Even with those members, there's no way that they can understand what their constituents are going through because they've been in there for so long. And so many things have changed over the last 40 years. I mean, the internet wasn't even thought of back then, when they were still in office, or at least when they came into office. A lot of things have changed across not just America, but the world in the way that we do business with different countries. It's just everything is different, right? So there's no way that you can say, well, I'll put it to you this way. I think that this is an issue that stems from those people that have been there for such a long time because they feel like they control so much that if they not that they want to control it, but if they leave, it creates this massive void that will not be recuperated. And that's why they feel like they need to stay there.
You make a good point on this one. Like the void part, we see it all the time. Like the Cold War, like is like the biggest point of it, and then also like all the Middle Eastern wars. It's always been a power vacuum of who's going to do what. So if they get rid of it, then you have these new people coming up, and these people just hold it so long. So it's like it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Now eventually, like you're saying, these people have been here 40 plus years. Like time they'll be phased out with time. I know it's a little crude in how to say it, but they will be phased out through time, and it's going to happen sooner than later, and we'll notice it a lot faster just because the past
Chuck Schumer.
years, social media, internet has completely broken through. The algorithms, they don't even need coding. We have AI on it. Look at the past 5 years and to now, the past year, it's been insane. Like it's you don't even notice anymore. So until all of that becomes a reality, we're gonna be on the same struggle bus. Like on who's like I'm right, you're right, they think they're right, like correct on it. It's just who's gonna break and where is it gonna align with whoever believes it and who's in charge and where the money's at when that time happens.
Right. Agreed. All right. Let's move on to USA Today. Let's see. A strong handshake and another Nobel Prize nod for Trump in Japan. All right. President Donald Trump appears to have picked up another Nobel Peace Prize nomination, this time from a new Japanese Prime Minister, Sune Takaichi. I forgot her name.
Dude, you're better at pronounce. Everyone knows I cannot pronounce last names.
Takaichi. I think it's Takaichi. Yeah, she used to be a metal drummer.
Used to what?
She was a metal drummer.
No shit, I love her.
Yeah. You should see some of the videos they have online. She told him during a meeting in Tokyo that she plans to put his name forward in the Distinguished Award. Takashi is the latest in a string of foreign leaders who have said they would nominate Trump for the award. He has said that he deserves the honor, but the prize committee gave it to Venezuela's opposition leader earlier this month. Trump congratulated Takashi, who took office last week, on being the first female prime minister, telling her, "That's a big deal. That's a big deal, and I want to congratulate you on that. I think that it has to be called out." Sorry, I don't do a very good Trump impersonation, but anyways, she told Trump publicly through a translator that the world has started to enjoy more peace on the ground, and she valued his unwavering commitment to world peace and stability. Takashi made the comments at the start of their meeting at Akasaka Palace. I don't know much about her, but
I don't know anything about her. I mean, I will now, but
yeah, I feel like because I've seen what other people have said about her. Like some people are saying like, "Oh my God, this is amazing," and then there's some people that are like, she's a little bit of a basket case. She's a fun basket case, but I don't know. That's yet to be seen.
So she could be a basket case, but you can put the same effort into what was it, Argentina? What's the president?
Oh, Milei.
Is that like that's the guy I'm thinking about, right? Yep. So him. You could say the same thing.
Afuera.
Afuera. So but you could start to see like there was, for the past 20 years, 30 years, there has been just like a acknowledgable decline in the state of throughout the governments, what they're able to do. Everyone's kind of not being told what not to do, and as much as we hate to admit it, we are the world police. Team America. I was gonna sing a song, never mind. But you could start seeing like these other countries who are desperate for this start to take notice on like how the Trump administration through his last term and now this current term, things are starting to change. Kind of grab it, lay down the long dick of the law, and this is what it is. And you can see positive movements in it. But then you have like the NWO, who are just completely against it. They don't even hide it anymore. They just say that's who they are, and where they want their countries, their culture completely fails. And who doesn't follow their rules, who falls to where this kind of this new way of thinking or going back to like running the country for the people, like, and they flourish.
Yep.
And best example of this, other than Argentina, it would be Poland, in my opinion. You know, like England, their government is cucked and they're failing. Poland, they're like, no, we're not taking any. They're thriving. They got the strongest military out in Europe. Rape, murder, peace is like rape and murder time low, peace is all time high. No one fucks with them.
I
And
mean, Poland's like the Texas of Europe. Like it really is. In the way that they got things set up there. Finland is almost like that too. Finland's they've got a lot of pride up there. I visited there last year for my birthday. It was so much fun. Yeah, it was so cold.
You went about this time last year, I think, right?
Yeah. I went Thanksgiving last year, and my birthday kind of coincided with that. But yeah, it was like, oh my God, one of the days it was in like the -20s at night, and that was in November. So you can only imagine what it's like, at any, just a month later from that standpoint. But anyways, that's beside the point. But the world is changing, and I think that a lot of people are starting to see, like I have to say this: it was COVID, right? COVID kind of opened the curtain to a lot of stuff, and once all the ants started scattering, it was like, wait a minute, what are you doing over there? What's this? What? Oh, so that's what you guys have been doing the last 30, 40 years. And people are like, you know what? No, thank you. They're literally saying, no, thank you. We don't want this. But they almost feel like they have an obligation, regardless of whether you want it or not. And I think that's a massive issue across the world, not just here in the United States, but across the world. The people are saying no, they don't want it, and the governments are saying, well, we're here now, so this is what we're doing, and it's like, no, that's not how that works.
No, and no, you're completely right, and maybe you could agree with me. Like when it first happened, that first week, it was like 28 days later. Like everything was shut down. Like everyone was scared for their lives. It doesn't matter which way. Like you had like, is this it, if you would? I mean, everyone was worried. But then after a certain while, the numbers start coming out. You start seeing what the effect is. It's like, no, we're good. But then they just kept, like belting you on your ass. Like you have to listen to us for, social stigma. You're going to get phased out, or through your job or your government, you get arrested. Like in Australia, they had a horrible, China obviously. But they're not really into this conversation as far as what we're talking about, as far as like free world, if you would. But everyone's like, no, this is stupid, and people started thinking for themselves. So it was a good effort, to see if people would listen, but then it backfired on them. People realized, kind of hence how you and I had this conversation and scrap for Rise of Middle America.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on to Fox News. California suspect accused of shooting and killing deputy crashes motorcycle during highway pursuit.
I saw this video. It's wholesome. I really liked it.
Oh, you know what? I did see this. I saw this earlier.
That's wholesome.
Exactly. A suspect accused of fatally shooting a California deputy crashed his motorcycle into a moving car during a high-speed police chase on Monday. Dramatic video shows. I'm not sure. We're probably not going to show this video because I'm not exactly sure.
I think we can play it. Like it's not.
Okay, well, let's see what happened. So while he's playing, I'll go ahead and explain it. The footage shows suspect racing along the 210 freeway in San Bernardino County at speeds topping 150 miles an hour. The cyclist is seen weaving through traffic and driving the wrong way several times before smashing into a vehicle about 1:35 p.m. Vehicle shows the suspect being sent airborne before he crashes on his back, skidding across the pavement as debris from his motorcycle scatters.
Yeah, it's not a bad crash. All things considered. It's almost like a side swipe and he just lands on his back. That looks worse when it's blurred out.
Was that really 150 miles an hour?
I don't know. Helicopters max out at like 155, so he might have hit 155 easily, but I don't think he was doing that fast because he had his one of his hands off the bars, like, and he was sitting up. You can't do 155 miles an hour one handed on a bike.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you've heard of Florida Man.
Some GP racers could, like,
Yeah.
if you go to, like, the Isle of Man, but
Yeah.
like when you're there, it's
You heard of Florida Man, but California Man said, "Hold my beer."
Hardy's like, look, Ma, no hands.
Yeah, no, but seriously, like, I mean, we see this a lot over there now. I mean,
And Chad
do
Grunander
officers
on
have
behalf
the
of the state.
ability to?
Your Honor, Kathy Nestor, Richard Novak, and
what-
Stacy Visser.
Where's
on
that noise
behalf
coming
of
from?
this-
No,
Sorry, guys. There's there's noise going on in my headset. But you're starting to see a lot of this stuff happen, especially in California, where, I mean, maybe it's not every day. I mean, it's not Chicago, but like you're going to start seeing this a lot more often.
I only see high speed pursuits in California. Like, if it's anywhere close to LA or in that general area, if I hear high speed pursuit, I'm just going to assume it's going to be in that area.
In LA, yeah. Especially the 210. For some reason, the 210 just seems to be a NASCAR racetrack. And I don't know why. But I hear a lot of different chases. I hear a lot of, like, fatal accidents at high speeds on the 210. Is there anybody in California that's in the chat that can explain that to me? Because I mean, I don't live there. I've only been there twice. And it wasn't in LA. Well, no, I visited LA once. It was nice, but it was, I was just there for sightseeing and stuff. But unfortunately, until we can get people can get a hold of that state that, I hate to say, but true leadership, you're going to keep seeing things like this. And I mean, maybe it's the biggest state, so there's going to be the most amount of people there.
I think the state's too big for its own good.
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
Yeah.
But they have so many resources there.
They do. I just think it's you got like 3 cities in there that kind of control like what the entire government laws and all this stuff are. And what's the 3rd largest economy in the world, and it's one state? That's insane. But it's just too big. It's too massive.
Yeah, it's almost like it needs 2 governors or 3.
I think if they split up into 3,
Yeah, didn't they think about splitting up into 3 and the top part being called Jefferson State, and then like the bottom part being called like Mojave or something like that? Something weird.
Something. It would be cool if we got Canada, was it Alberta?
Oh, Alberta, yeah.
They filed a petition to become like the 51st state.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well,
I don't know if I trust that.
Well, it's because they're getting taxed unfairly. How they're being taxed in that specific part of the country. Like, they're paying all the taxes for the rest of the country. And they're like, no, we're good. Nothing about us is like the rest of y'all. And they also have like, one of the largest oil reserves. They're like, can we just, yeah. But like you're saying, I don't know how I feel about that at the same time. It's because the goddamn Canadians, goddamn cooks.
Yeah, but they had the oil reserves. Isn't that where that was not the Keystone? Is the Keystone not the Keystone pipeline? That one pipeline that they were building that they shut down like 5 or 6 years ago.
I don't know. I can't speak on it confidently. I know there's obviously a pipeline there. The name of it, to which I don't know. It's not there for it. But if they were to do like how's Puerto Rico and the Philippines? What is it? It's
like a province.
Yeah, it's It'll come to me. I swear to God, I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, I got it. Commonwealth.
That's nice. All right, let's get to our last story here. This is from space.com. Awakening an interstellar wanderer, surprising nickel detection in comet 31 Atlas. This looks like it's gonna be a fun topic.
I want to do this.
Yeah. Say,
dude, I've been reading on this for months and months. This is why Brian always does this. I'll get into it a little after this, but in a surprising discovery, our team. All right, this is coming from where? Space.com. Rohan Ragondkar. Yeah, I can't do last names. Is a student at the Institute of Words. Oh, Chile. Institutia Strifus. I can't pronounce it either way. A surprising discovery. Our team has detected glowing nickel vapor in the gas surrounding of the incoming interstellar 31 Atlas, which is fucking extraordinary. At an extraordinary distance from the sun, where temperatures remain far too cold for metals to normally vaporize. The thing about it is like nickel and the other, they're together always. So when it's just this is actually really fucking cool on the nerd end. This unexpected finding provides new insights into chemistry of materials from beyond our solar system. Apparently, this interstellar, whatever it is about like 7 billion years old, is what we're speculating. On July 1st, 2025, a routine sky survey by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Blast Alert System, ATLAS, detected what would soon prove, that's where it comes from, what would soon prove to be the only third confirmed interstellar object ever discovered. Unlike its predecessors, the enigmatic Oumuamua and comet Borisov, this visitor, designated 3i Atlas, was caught early in its journey through our solar system, giving astronomers unprecedented opportunity to watch an interstellar comet come to life as it approaches the sun. Brian, I don't know if you captured any of these photos that I sent you earlier today. This is a fucking spaceship, by the way, and this is also the fastest thing ever recorded ever in the entirety of outer space study. It's that insane. What makes interstellar objects so scientifically valuable is that they carry chemical and physical information from star systems where they formed. Nobody knows where this came from at all. Like they have no idea where they formed, potentially billions of years ago. They're saying 7.4 if I read earlier today. They're like cosmic time capsules, learning samples from distant exoplanetary systems we can never otherwise visit and study directly. All right, so in a nutshell, this is really fucking cool. I can read it. One, this is dumping water.
You're so excited, bro.
This is so cool. So like our solar system is like this. The only thing that's not like this is Pluto, which is like this.
Yeah,
so,
it's like an angle.
Yes,
yeah.
That's it. That's what it looks like. That, and there's lights and there's pulsing. They're thinking it's nuclear powered. It rode behind the flares of other galactic stars and everything. It's coming straight at it, so it runs and it can loop and power. This is what this looks like. Obviously, that's CGI, but it's giving off methane gas. It has light pulses that are timed perfectly, like as if it was electronic. It's dumping out water, vaporizing. It's running purposely, like we would run in slingshot ourselves around the moon and other planetary objects. It's doing that. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it's on the other side. It's called an AU, which is the distance from the sun to Earth. It's called an AU.
Yeah, an astronomical. It was astronomical unit.
Yes. So this is 0.3, 0.4, which is about, I think it's 787 million miles or something like that, give or take. Maybe the last time, the closest thing that ever came close to it, which came, if this is us, came like all the way out here, that was 60 AUs, which is something close to like 60 or 80 trillion miles away. So I did if you were to travel 150,000 miles an hour at 60,000 AU, it would take you 1,000 light years. or 1,200 years at 150,000 miles an hour, which, by the way, this is the fastest thing ever recorded. If you do it to the distance on the other side of the sun, which is our equal, which is where the moon is, it would take you about 20 years or something like that. So it's just insane and perfectly to zip across it. And then it's a fucking spaceship. And it's giving out pulses, it's giving out light, it's dumping water in air in almost a pure vacuum of the outer space, because obviously there's gas pockets. The nickel and what was the other one out there? They're together. Like it's like salt and pepper on a steak. You do not separate by any means. And if you put one in the other in your steak, you're a fucking weirdo. But this is fucking cool. This is the closest thing we ever had. And so everyone's like, okay, cool, maybe this is. And as it comes closer, they're like, oh, wait. So by tomorrow morning, as it slingshots around, like we're about to find out if it is actually like a kind of spaceship. Because it on the other side, once it slingshots out, we're gonna find out. And I truly think it is. Like just on the lighting, the pulsing of the lights, what it's giving off, the energy. There's no trail on it other than stuff coming out from this side, which is methane and water. It is fucking cool as shit.
It's like that scene from Independence Day. It's a communication from another world.
Dude, I remember I was talking to G about this, like on one of our shows. He's like, yeah, no, it's totally this. And I'm like, what if it gives me like Super Saiyan powers, please? That'd be awesome.
But it is going to be nice that we finally get something that's not part of our system to see if there's other rare elements that are out there that could be very useful here.
Yeah, no, it's like the odds of this happening, obviously, like when you look into like outer space things and like, you know, all this astronomy, like it's like 0.00002% of this actually ever happening in a billion years, which is damn near impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Like it happens to be in our lifetime. And as far as like stuff like this is the coolest shit of all time. Now, if it's dropping a little, and it had an armada of like spaceships too, because you can see it like going like this in the long term of things. Like it's changed its trajectory. And then it's bringing like other forces from across the universe into it to trail. Like it's fucking cool. Me, my tinfoil hat, I think they're just using the sun as a little background because it's coming closer to Mars than the moon is to us. So maybe they're going to use that and like, you know, come back.
I wonder if Elon's going to send something over there. But anyways,
what if Elon is? I don't know.
All right, let's get into it. I have not seen this caption this yet.
I haven't. I never did because I was once.
Yeah, so it's going to be a surprise. So Brian, go ahead and hit that bump. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Caption This. All right, so in our Discord, we have an AI image dump that you can create as many as you want, throw it in there. Every single day, we choose one of those AI-generated images, and we bring it onto the show, and it's up to you in the audience to come up with the best caption for this. So, without further ado, caption this. I had some really dirty thoughts that came to my head for this one, and I'm not.
I already said it.
Down.
Give me 1 second. Give me 30 seconds. I have to use the restroom really fast.
Okay, good.
Take your rings.
All right. Let me see. What do I want to put for this one? Hey, Brian, pull up the chat real quick. I want to see what the chat's got to say about this. Oh my God. All right, let's see. Let's see. When you have to take one for the team for your boy on Halloween. Dougie Fresh says, "Look away, I'm hideous." All right. Hardy Harmonica says, Frankenstein with Frankenstein versus the Ultimate Werewolf. Love it. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh man, Rebel Noel says Herman Munster versus Eddie Munster's biological father, deadbeat monster. What the hell? Oh my god, that's great. Oh man. Deadbeat monster. What, you mean the milkman? No,
I heard Brian screaming and laughing. Which one?
Oh man, look at Rebel with no yell. Oh, this is great. All right, we'll give it about 30 more seconds. If there's anybody else that's in there in the chat, give us your best. Oh, you know, I gotta do one too. Yeah, I'm not gonna have enough time to think of anything. But I think there was already a winner. That's probably going to win this. But anyways, we got one. WWE's new diversity hire, their reanimated reckoning. Sorry, Vash. I mean, it was a nice try. All right. So what do you think, Rebel?
If you like it, man, I'm for it. You're the guest.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going with that one. I'm definitely not going to come up with anything funnier than that. So, Herman Frankenstein married to a vampire and their kid is a werewolf. Come on. The milkman. Dougie Fresh says 2-1 Blue Jays. No, the sports show's tomorrow, bro. We'll be back on tomorrow live with that show. All right, we got Grok. F this thing up. Frankenstein was supposed to be doing a top rope elbow drop on Wolfman. Jim Reaper. Okay, that one's a little bit better, Vash. Much better. All right, well, Rebel No Yell, you are the winner of Caption This. Also, you guys need to go to riseofmiddleamerica.com. That's where we got all of our lineup of shows from history to news to sports. It's all there. So if you want to join our team, you go to the Roman Nation Discord. That's also at the top of the page, along with all of our socials. And at the bottom, you can hit the Roman Nation Network merch, and that's where we got all of our funny Caption This shirts. And I'm wondering, I kind of want to make that one a shirt, but we'll see what happens. It was hilarious. We got that Vax and Sash Drive In. We got some Roman Nation shirts and Sunset Ranch shirts down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss a moment of the action. Where is the music? We need some music in here. Give me a second. There we go. All right. You got any final thoughts, Tay?
No, man. It's always a pleasure to go back to the roots and do the show with you. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So natural just to have a good conversation and banter off of each other. So I appreciate you jumping in.
Beautiful. Anytime, bro. Anytime. All right. You can find him at AP2Tay on X. You can find me at @therealroma_AK. Without further ado, you guys have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow. I think Biddy's back tomorrow, so yeah, much better looking on the eyes than us. That's for sure. Yeah. So we'll see you tomorrow for Sunset Rants, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then right after that at 10:20 Roma Sports, where yours truly will be there. So hang tight, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.